Good morning, everyone. It's Haz here, and hope you're having a great day. And welcome to the first episode of my brand new weapon series for Splatoon 3. There is a voting going on my channel, but a large majority of you have already spoken, and it seems a lot of you would be interested in a bit more in depth introduction to each weapon type, so I will do my best to showcase all 11 types. Keep in mind the series is aimed at new players first of all, but it might have information for everyone, and perhaps in the future we will also do an advanced series if there is interest. I will be releasing, hopefully, a part to this every day or two as much as I can keep up, and if you're interested and don't want to miss any of it, consider subscribing for updates on my Splatoon videos. Now let's get into episode 1, the Splatling. The Splatling is Splatoon's version of a Gatling gun and is one of the unique charger weapons such as, well, the charger. It is a very powerful and usually long-range weapon type that focuses on holding choke points and important sections of the stage while also supporting your team from behind, and it's very capable of holding back a whole team even if positioned correctly, which is why it is an anchor. Leave those secured positions on the other hand, and the Splatling will quickly find itself in an undefendable position and will get splatted in no time. Splatlings work with a unique charge mechanic that you have to wind up in order to fire, and it's probably one of the reasons a lot of players shy away from them, as it can be a bit tricky to use them at first, especially if you don't have great map knowledge and you don't know when to be on high alert. There are multiple Splatlings in the game, and each of them have unique charging mechanic that you should test out if you like them, such as the mini Splatling charging up faster but having shorter range, or the Nautilus that can refresh its charge meter anytime. I would recommend the Splatling to players who prefer long-range combat that is not a charger or sniper playstyle and love the idea of holding a point or choke point on stages, along with also being a pillar of the team and potentially even lead. If you prefer to stay back and have a clear overview of what is going on in the map and don't shy away from a more complex to use weapon, then the Splatling won't disappoint. It will require a bit more practice and learning of the game itself, but it's really rewarding when you can hold an enemy team alone just because you've done your job and you know how to be a good backliner. Since the Splatling requires more practice than most guns with its charging mechanic and situational usefulness, not to mention requiring good map and game awareness to truly make use of its advantages, I place its difficulty higher. I would give it a 4-star difficulty wise. It's definitely harder than your average gun, but I wouldn't say it's one of the hardest weapons in Splatoon. Keep in mind that just the Splatling itself might not be that hard, but to use it correctly and be a good anchor to your team, it requires a lot of game knowledge next to having to practice your gun. I personally don't think these are great beginner weapons except if you really know you want to play a lot of Splatling in the future. The reason being is that they have very specific role and playstyle that won't give you insight on how the rest of Splatoon works, but at the same time, if you're fully dedicated to be an anchor player, there's no time like the present to start. Splatlings are usually played as anchors or backliners in a team composition. This means you are supposed to be the pillar of the team, and when everything falls, you're the one everyone should be able to rely on. As a good anchor, your responsibility with a Splatling is to find a good advantage point on any stage and hold it as long as you can. Your primary goal is not to splat others, but to make sure you hold a crucial position of the stage so the enemy team cannot advance. You will get your splats anyway, since usually the combined advantage of your range and good position will allow you to shoot at your opponents when they push. And when that push happens, from a good position and keeping your specials for this opportunity, your job is to hold out as long as your team can respond. Making sure you're in the right position is also crucial as an anchor, since you're supposed to be the safest respawn point for your teammates. If you go down, it's always so useful to be able to super jump straight to a well-positioned player. That not only helps you get back straight into action, but saves so much time for the whole team. For its subweapons and specials, the Splatlings are in an interesting position. Generally speaking, the best ones would be the specials that help you lock down a whole area to prevent the enemy team from pushing you. In Splatoon 3, the Splatling kits have changed a lot and not always for the better. As a Splatling, your biggest advantage is your range and the ability to hold positions from low-range slayers, and bombs really help with that, but sadly, most of them don't really have bombs. Specials wise, Ink Storm, Wavebreaker, and Booyah Bomb are excellent for this purpose, but Unfortunately, some other specials such as the Inkjet or the Ultra Stem that we have are too aggressive or short range to really fit well with the weapon type. Since as a Splatling user, you are the backline, you should save up your specials for when the enemy team is pushing or you feel your team has a good chance to do a wipeout. You're supposed to have the best position on the stage, and your specials should be kept to make sure you can keep that position. Sometimes a whole match can flip upside down at the last 30 seconds of a match. I'm pretty sure we have all seen that before. It can happen with a good push or just getting wiped out because one or two really well-timed specials, and that is exactly why as an anchor you should be mindful of when you utilize yours to make the best use of it. All of this combined definitely makes the Splatling an advanced weapon type in Splatoon, but that shouldn't discourage anyone from using them. Just like anything else requires learning too, this is no different. It's just you will probably have a few more responsibilities that's worth looking at. I personally absolutely love the playstyle of staying back and supporting the team from behind. Not only do I see most of the map and have a clear vision on what's going on, but I also feel safer. Well, until everyone else gets splatted, of course. What I'm trying to say is that depending on your preferred playstyle, what might be really difficult for some, such as keeping an eye on your team and having map awareness, if you're like me, that's instead a pro since I love that role in any game and it's actually easier for me to keep control from behind rather than be in the thick of combat as a Slayer, where I usually get confused and stressed. Finally, remember to have fun. It doesn't matter if a weapon is considered difficult or maybe bad by others. It's a game and the most important part is you having fun. If you don't enjoy the weapon you're using, can you truly master it? I don't think so, or at least it's gonna be a chore. On the other hand, if you like a weapon and you're really passionate about it, there are ways to make them work. There are several professional players in the Splatoon scene who can make really unpopular weapons look like the most overpowered gun. And that is because they're really passionate about their weapons. But that is it for our first episode in the weapon series, everyone. Hope you enjoyed it and answered some questions about Splatlings and maybe even about being an anchor. As it is the first episode of the series, I'm asking everyone for all the feedback. It's all really appreciated so I can improve on the next episodes too, what you'd like to hear more and so on. I will try to make a video for each weapon type. We'll see how long it will take, but I'll do my best to finish this series and make sure it's all out. Until then, consider subscribing if you like this video and you'll get all the future updates about the channel in Splatoon. Thank you all for watching and the support, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye.